Have you ever found yourself reacting impulsively to something someone said or did, only to regret it moments later? Imagine you're in a conversation, and someone makes a comment that annoys you. Your immediate reaction is to respond sharply, but what if there was a way to handle such moments more thoughtfully? Why do we often find ourselves caught in this cycle of instant reaction, and what can we do to break free from it? Consider a common scenario. You're stuck in traffic, and someone cuts you off. Instantly, anger flares up, and you might find yourself shouting or gesturing. But what if, instead of reacting in the heat of the moment, you took a breath and chose to respond differently? How might your day change if you approached such situations with calmness and clarity? Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we explore the depths of Buddhist philosophy and practical wisdom to enhance our daily lives. In this video, we're diving into why reacting to everything may not serve us well and how a mindful approach can transform our responses. So, why shouldn't we react to everything? Often, our reactions are driven by emotional impulses rather than thoughtful consideration. This can lead to misunderstandings, conflicts, and a cycle of negative emotions. But what if we could break this cycle? By learning to respond rather than react, we can create more harmonious interactions and foster inner peace. The Buddhist teachings offer profound insights into the nature of our reactions. According to Buddhism, our habitual reactions are often driven by ignorance and attachment. When we react without awareness, we are acting out of habit rather than wisdom. This reactive pattern can lead to suffering, both for ourselves and others. But by cultivating mindfulness, we can gain greater control over our responses and choose actions that align with our deeper values. Imagine a world where your reactions are guided by calmness and clarity rather than impulse. This is not just an ideal, it's a practical possibility. By adopting mindful practices, we can learn to pause before we react, allowing us to choose more constructive responses. This shift can lead to healthier relationships, reduced stress, and a more fulfilling life. In the coming parts of this video, we will explore various aspects of this practice, drawing from Buddhist wisdom to help us understand how we can manage our reactions more effectively. We'll delve into techniques for cultivating mindfulness, developing patience, and transforming our habitual responses. So, are you ready to discover how to transform your reactions into thoughtful responses? Stay tuned as we unravel the art of responding mindfully and explore practical steps to enhance your emotional well-being. Remember, there are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please comment, share, and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on our latest insights and practices. Let's embark on this journey together and learn to master the art of mindful responses. Join us as we explore how not reacting impulsively can lead to a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Stay with us, and let's uncover these transformative insights together. Understanding the impulse to react. When something unexpected happens, how do you usually respond? Do you find yourself reacting immediately, often without thinking? This instinct to react can be powerful and overwhelming, making you feel like you have no control. Let's explore this impulse and how we can begin to understand it better. Imagine you're driving and someone cuts you off in traffic. What's your first reaction? Many people would feel a surge of anger or frustration, maybe even a strong urge to shout or honk the horn. This is a common and natural response. But what if, instead of reacting immediately, you paused for a moment? This pause can make all the difference. Reacting quickly often means we're driven by our immediate emotions, which might not always lead to the best outcomes. This is where understanding the impulse to react comes into play. It's about recognizing that our initial feelings can cloud our judgment and lead us to act in ways we might later regret. In Buddhism, this impulse to react is seen as a result of our attachments and desires. These attachments make us prone to quick reactions, as we are deeply invested in how things should be. When something doesn't align with our expectations, it triggers a reaction. For instance, if you value your time and someone is late for a meeting, you might react with irritation because it disrupts your plans. The Buddha taught that by becoming aware of our attachments, we can learn to manage our reactions better. It's not about suppressing our emotions or pretending they don't exist. Instead, it's about understanding them and giving ourselves the space to respond more thoughtfully. The impulse to react can be like a wave that crashes over you. It's strong and forceful, and it can sweep you away if you're not careful. But if you can recognize the wave for what it is, you can learn to ride it without letting it control you. This means noticing your emotions as they arise and choosing how to respond, rather than reacting automatically. One way to start understanding this impulse is through mindfulness practice. Mindfulness helps you become more aware of your thoughts and feelings without immediately acting on them. When you're mindful, you observe your reactions without judgment and create a space between feeling and action. This space is where you can make a choice about how to respond. Another aspect to consider is how habitual your reactions have become. Over time, you might notice that you have certain patterns of reacting to specific situations. For example, if you often react with frustration when things don't go as planned, this might be a habit formed through repeated experiences. Recognizing these patterns is the first step in breaking them. In Buddhism, the concept of mindful awareness plays a crucial role here. It involves paying attention to your internal experiences in the present moment. By practicing mindful awareness, you begin to understand the triggers that lead to your reactions. This understanding gives you the power to pause and choose a more considered response. Consider a simple practice. When you feel a strong emotion rising, take a deep breath and count to 3 before responding. This small pause can help you shift from reacting impulsively to responding with greater awareness. Over time, this practice can lead to more thoughtful and balanced responses. It's also helpful to explore the root causes of your reactions. Often, our responses are influenced by underlying beliefs and past experiences. For instance, if you react defensively when someone questions your ideas, it might be related to a deeper fear of not being valued. By understanding these underlying causes, you can address them and reduce their impact on your reactions. By approaching reactions with curiosity rather than judgment, you create an opportunity for growth. Instead of criticizing yourself for having a strong reaction, ask yourself what's behind it. This approach can lead to greater self-awareness and a more compassionate understanding of your own impulses. In summary, understanding the impulse to react involves recognizing the automatic nature of your responses and learning to create a space between feeling and action. Through mindfulness and self-awareness, you can start to manage your reactions more effectively. This practice allows you to respond to situations with greater clarity and intention, leading to more harmonious interactions and inner peace. By observing your reactions and understanding their origins, you take the first step towards transforming your responses. This journey of self-discovery and mindful living not only improves your interactions with others, but also fosters a deeper sense of inner calm. The Buddhist perspective on emotional reactions. Imagine you're walking through a peaceful forest, surrounded by the gentle rustle of leaves and the soothing sounds of nature. Now, picture a sudden loud noise breaking the calm. Your initial reaction might be to jump or startle. This immediate response is similar to how we react to emotions in our daily lives. Buddhism teaches us to understand and transform these reactions into opportunities for growth. In Buddhism, our reactions are seen as reflections of our inner state. When something triggers us, whether it's a person's comment or a challenging situation, our immediate response often comes from a place of ignorance or unconscious habit. This is why we might react with anger, frustration, or sadness without fully understanding why. Buddhist teachings highlight the importance of awareness in these moments. By becoming aware of our emotions as they arise, we can observe them without being overwhelmed or controlled by them. This practice is known as mindful awareness. It allows us to create a space between stimulus and response, giving us the opportunity to choose how we wish to react. One core concept in Buddhism related to this is the idea of right action. According to Buddhist philosophy, right action means responding in a way that is thoughtful and intentional rather than impulsive. This involves pausing to reflect on our emotions and motivations before we act. When we practice right action, we align our responses with our true values and intentions, rather than reacting out of habit or immediate impulse. Another important aspect is non-reactivity. In Buddhist terms, this doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring our emotions, but rather not letting them dictate our actions automatically. By cultivating a sense of detachment from our immediate reactions, we can respond more calmly and thoughtfully. This doesn't make our feelings go away, but helps us manage them in a healthier way. Buddhism also teaches about equanimity, a state of mental calmness and evenness of temper, especially in difficult situations. Equanimity helps us maintain our composure regardless of external circumstances. It's like being a sturdy tree that bends with the wind but doesn't break. When we develop equanimity, we can handle emotional triggers with greater stability and less distress. To develop this understanding, Buddhist meditation practices are incredibly valuable. Techniques such as mindfulness meditation help us observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. Over time, this practice builds our capacity to remain centered and composed, even when faced with challenging or upsetting situations. In addition to meditation, Buddhism encourages practices such as mindful breathing and awareness of our bodily sensations. By focusing on our breath or the physical sensations in our body, we can ground ourselves in the present moment and create a buffer against automatic, reactive responses. These practices help us build a habit of responding rather than reacting. Furthermore, Buddhism teaches about the impermanent nature of all things, including our emotions. Understanding that emotions are transient helps us not to be overwhelmed by them. They rise and fall like waves in the ocean. When we recognize their impermanence, we can better navigate through them without being carried away by their intensity. It's also helpful to reflect on the teachings of the Four Noble Truths, which highlight the nature of suffering and the path to overcoming it. The first truth acknowledges that suffering exists. The second identifies its causes. The third reveals that suffering can cease. And the fourth outlines the path to ending suffering. By applying these truths to our reactions, we can begin to transform our understanding and responses to emotional triggers. In everyday life, this means that when someone says something hurtful or an unexpected challenge arises, instead of reacting impulsively, we take a moment to pause and reflect. We remind ourselves that our initial reaction is just one possibility and that we have the power to choose a different, more thoughtful response. In summary, the Buddhist perspective on emotional reactions encourages us to move from automatic responses to mindful, intentional actions. By practicing awareness, non-reactivity, equanimity, and reflection, we can transform our reactions and respond in ways that align with our deepest values and aspirations. This approach helps us maintain inner peace and handle life's challenges with greater wisdom and compassion. The consequences of reactive behavior. Imagine walking down a peaceful path, and suddenly, a pebble flies up and hits you. Your immediate reaction might be to shout or feel annoyed. But what if you paused and thought about why that pebble hit you? This is a simple way to understand the concept of reacting versus responding. In life, we often face situations that trigger automatic reactions. These reactions can be like the pebble hitting us, quick and impulsive, driven by our immediate feelings. But just as a pebble doesn't define the path, our initial reactions don't always reflect our true selves. Reacting without thinking can lead to outcomes we regret later, creating more disturbance in our lives. From a Buddhist perspective, reacting impulsively is like being swept away by a current. When we react without mindfulness, we allow our emotions to control us, much like how the current of a river can sweep us away if we don't swim carefully. This can result in unnecessary conflict, misunderstandings, and stress. When we react immediately, we often act out of habit rather than wisdom. For instance, if someone cuts in front of you in line, your first instinct might be irritation or anger. But reacting in this way can escalate the situation and create more negativity. Instead, taking a moment to pause and reflect can help us respond with calmness and clarity, reducing conflict and promoting understanding. In Buddhism, we learn that our reactions are influenced by our inner state of mind. If our mind is cluttered with anger or frustration, we are more likely to react in ways that perpetuate these negative feelings. By becoming aware of our internal state and practicing mindfulness, we can change our responses from automatic reactions to thoughtful and intentional actions. The consequences of reacting impulsively can also affect our relationships. Imagine a conversation where you react sharply to a comment. This reaction can hurt the other person and damage the relationship. By choosing to respond thoughtfully, we create space for better communication and understanding, fostering healthier and more harmonious relationships. Reactive behavior can also impact our own well-being. Constantly reacting to external triggers keeps us in a state of stress and agitation. This can lead to burnout and dissatisfaction. By learning to manage our reactions and cultivate a more mindful approach, we can maintain inner peace and emotional stability. In everyday situations, we encounter various triggers that prompt us to react. Whether it's a challenging conversation at work, a disagreement with a friend, or a minor inconvenience, our initial reaction often sets the tone for how we handle the situation. By practicing mindfulness and pausing before reacting, we can choose responses that align with our values and promote positive outcomes. Buddhism teaches that every reaction is an opportunity for growth. When we become aware of our habitual reactions, we can start to understand the patterns in our behavior and work to change them. This self-awareness helps us break free from automatic responses and choose actions that reflect our true intentions and values. To illustrate, consider a situation where someone criticizes you. Your initial reaction might be defensive, but if you pause and reflect, you might realize that the criticism provides an opportunity for self-improvement. By responding with openness and curiosity, you can turn a potentially negative experience into a chance for growth. Practicing mindfulness in our reactions also helps us become more compassionate. When we react without thinking, we may inadvertently cause harm to others. By taking a moment to reflect, we can respond with empathy and kindness, leading to more positive interactions and a greater sense of connection with others. In summary, the consequences of reactive behavior can be far-reaching, affecting our relationships, our well-being, and our overall quality of life. By incorporating mindfulness into our daily lives and learning to pause before reacting, we can transform our responses from impulsive reactions to thoughtful actions. This shift not only enhances our personal growth, but also fosters more harmonious relationships and a deeper sense of inner peace. So, next time you feel that urge to react impulsively, remember the pebble and the peaceful path. Take a moment to pause, reflect, and choose a response that aligns with your values and promotes a more balanced and fulfilling life. The role of mindfulness in managing reactions. Imagine you're sitting in a calm, serene garden. The sun is shining, and a gentle breeze rustles through the leaves. In this peaceful space, you notice a small bird landing on a nearby branch. It chirps sweetly, and you're fully present, appreciating its simple beauty. This sense of calm and awareness is what mindfulness offers us in our everyday lives. In our bustling world, reactions often come so quickly that we barely have time to pause. A comment from a friend, a missed opportunity at work, or even a minor inconvenience can trigger a cascade of emotions. But what if, instead of reacting impulsively, we took a moment to pause and observe? Mindfulness, a practice rooted in Buddhism, teaches us to be fully aware of our present moment. It's about paying attention to our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations without immediate judgment or reaction. By doing so, we create a space between stimulus and response, a space where we can choose how to act. Let's explore how mindfulness can transform our reactions. Picture a situation where someone cuts you off in traffic. Your first impulse might be anger or frustration. But if you practice mindfulness, you can observe this impulse without being controlled by it. You might notice your heart rate rising and your muscles tensing, but instead of letting these reactions dictate your behavior, you pause. In that pause, you can choose a different response, perhaps a deep breath and a moment of compassion for the other driver. This pause is where the power of mindfulness lies. It allows us to step back from our automatic reactions and respond more thoughtfully. By regularly practicing mindfulness, we train our minds to react less impulsively and more intentionally. So how do we cultivate this practice? Start with small moments throughout your day. When you feel an emotion bubbling up, take a deep breath and observe it. Notice where it's coming from and how it feels in your body. This simple act of awareness can prevent your initial reaction from taking control. Mindfulness isn't just about handling negative reactions. It also helps us appreciate positive moments more deeply. When we're fully present, we savor the joy of a beautiful sunset, the laughter of friends, or the satisfaction of a job well done. By being mindful, we enrich our experiences and build a more resilient mindset. In Buddhism, mindfulness is often compared to a calm, clear pond. When the water is still, we can see the reflection of the sky and the trees. But when the pond is stirred up, the reflection becomes murky. Similarly, when our minds are calm and clear, we can see our thoughts and emotions more clearly. This clarity helps us make better choices and respond with wisdom rather than reacting out of habit. To deepen your mindfulness practice, try incorporating it into daily routines. Whether you're eating, walking, or simply sitting quietly, bring your full attention to the task at hand. Notice the sensations, sounds, and feelings associated with the activity. This practice strengthens your ability to stay present and responsive in all areas of life. Another effective mindfulness technique is mindful breathing. When you feel overwhelmed or triggered, focus on your breath. Take slow, deep breaths, and let the rhythm of your breath ground you in the present moment. This simple practice can quickly shift your mindset and help you respond more calmly. Mindfulness also teaches us the importance of non-judgment. Often, we react strongly because we judge situations as good or bad. By practicing non-judgment, we learn to observe our experiences without labeling them. This shift in perspective helps us respond more objectively and compassionately. As you continue to develop your mindfulness practice, you'll notice a gradual change in how you handle life's challenges. You'll become less reactive and more composed. Your relationships may improve as you respond with greater empathy and understanding. Most importantly, you'll find a deeper sense of peace and balance within yourself. In summary, mindfulness is a powerful tool for managing our reactions. By practicing mindfulness, we create a space between stimulus and response, allowing us to act with greater intention and clarity. Through regular practice, we can transform our reactions, enrich our experiences, and cultivate a more peaceful and balanced life. Cultivating patience through Buddhist teachings. In our fast-paced world, patience often seems like a rare virtue. But in Buddhism, patience is not just a quality. It's a powerful practice that transforms how we interact with ourselves and others. Imagine you're driving through traffic and someone cuts you off. The immediate reaction might be frustration or anger. But what if you could pause, take a breath, and choose a different response? That's where patience comes in, and it's more than just waiting without complaint. It's about creating space between stimulus and reaction. In Buddhism, patience is linked to the concept of kshanti, which means enduring challenges without losing our inner peace. It's not about suppressing our emotions or pretending they don't exist. Instead, it's about allowing ourselves the space to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Think of it like a calm lake. When the water is still, it reflects the sky clearly. But when it's disturbed, the reflection becomes murky. Patience helps keep our minds clear, like that still lake. One simple way to practice patience is through mindful breathing. When you feel the urge to react to something, whether it's a minor annoyance or a major challenge, take a few deep breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold the breath for a moment, and then exhale slowly through your mouth. This practice can help center your mind and calm your emotions. It's a way to create that much-needed space between your reaction and your response. Buddhism teaches that patience is a form of wisdom. It helps us see beyond our immediate feelings and understand the bigger picture. For instance, if a friend is late to meet you, instead of jumping to conclusions about their behavior, patience allows you to consider that they might have encountered unexpected difficulties. This shift in perspective can help you respond with empathy rather than irritation. Another aspect of cultivating patience involves recognizing the impermanence of situations. Everything, including our feelings, is temporary. Just as clouds pass through the sky, so too do our emotional reactions. By reminding ourselves of this, we can avoid getting caught up in fleeting emotions and instead respond from a place of understanding and calm. In Buddhist teachings, patience is also linked to compassion. When we practice patience, we are often more compassionate toward ourselves and others. We recognize that everyone, including ourselves, is on a journey and that mistakes and misunderstandings are part of the human experience. Patience allows us to approach these situations with kindness rather than frustration. There are various ways to develop patience. Regular meditation practice is one effective method. During meditation, we sit quietly and observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. This practice helps us become more aware of our habitual reactions and teaches us to respond with greater awareness and intention. Over time, this practice can extend beyond meditation and into our daily interactions. Patience also involves understanding our triggers, those situations or people that prompt immediate reactions. By identifying these triggers, we can work on strategies to manage our responses more effectively. For instance, if you know that certain types of stress make you react more quickly, you can develop coping strategies to address these situations with greater patience. In daily life, patience can be practiced in many simple ways. When someone cuts in line, instead of reacting with anger, take a deep breath and remember that your reaction is a choice. When faced with a long wait or a delay, use the time to practice mindfulness or reflect on the situation calmly. Each opportunity to practice patience helps build a stronger, more resilient mind. Patience isn't always easy, especially when we're faced with challenging or stressful situations. But by integrating these Buddhist teachings into our daily lives, we can learn to approach these moments with greater calm and clarity. Remember that patience is not about suppressing our feelings, but about responding to them in a mindful and thoughtful way. As we continue to cultivate patience, we start to notice a shift in how we interact with the world. We become more resilient, less reactive, and more compassionate. This transformation not only enhances our own well-being, but also improves our relationships with others. Patience allows us to engage with the world in a more balanced and harmonious way. By embracing the teachings of patience from Buddhism, we can navigate our lives with greater ease and grace. We learn to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, creating more harmonious and fulfilling experiences for ourselves and those around us. Patience is not just a practice. It's a way of living that reflects our deepest understanding of ourselves and the world. The concept of equanimity in Buddhism. In the busy rush of everyday life, it's easy to find ourselves overwhelmed by emotions. We react to situations, people, and events with a surge of feelings that can sometimes lead to chaos. But imagine navigating life with a sense of calm and balance, no matter what happens around you. This is the essence of equanimity, a core concept in Buddhism that offers profound wisdom for maintaining inner peace. Equanimity is like a steady boat on a stormy sea. When the waves of life rise and fall, the boat remains undisturbed. This mental state allows us to face life's challenges with an even mind, not swayed by the highs and lows of our experiences. It's about finding a place of calmness within ourselves, no matter what is happening externally. So, what does it mean to cultivate equanimity? At its heart, equanimity is about understanding that our reactions are often driven by our inner turmoil. When we react impulsively, we are often giving in to our emotions without taking a moment to reflect. This can lead to regret and confusion. Equanimity teaches us to pause, observe, and choose our responses more thoughtfully. Buddhism views equanimity as a form of mental discipline. It is not about suppressing emotions or pretending we don't feel them. Instead, it's about recognizing our emotions and understanding them without being controlled by them. Just like a skilled gardener who carefully tends to each plant, we must cultivate our minds with patience and care. Imagine a time when you felt frustrated because someone cut you off in traffic. Your initial reaction might have been anger or irritation, but if you practice equanimity, you would pause and reflect before reacting. You might think, this moment of frustration is just one part of my day. I can choose to respond with calmness. By doing this, you prevent yourself from being swept away by your emotions and instead respond in a way that maintains your peace of mind. Equanimity also involves understanding that life is full of changes. We face joys and sorrows, successes and failures. By accepting that these fluctuations are natural, we can maintain a balanced perspective. Buddhism teaches that everything is impermanent. Knowing this helps us not get too attached to our emotions or circumstances, whether they are positive or negative. One of the key practices for developing equanimity is mindfulness. Mindfulness helps us become aware of our thoughts and feelings without judgment. By observing them, we can see them for what they are, temporary and changeable. This awareness allows us to respond to situations more thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. In meditation, equanimity is practiced by sitting quietly and observing our thoughts and feelings as they arise. We don't try to push them away or hold on to them. Instead, we let them come and go, maintaining a steady awareness. This practice helps us build the inner strength needed to face life's ups and downs with grace and composure. Another important aspect of equanimity is compassion. When we practice compassion towards ourselves and others, we develop a more balanced and understanding approach to life. We recognize that everyone, including ourselves, faces challenges and makes mistakes. Compassion helps us respond with empathy rather than frustration. Equanimity also encourages us to let go of the need for control. Often, our reactions stem from a desire to control outcomes and avoid discomfort. By accepting that we cannot control everything, we free ourselves from the stress of trying to manage every detail. This acceptance allows us to navigate life with more ease and less anxiety. In daily life, you can practice equanimity by taking moments throughout your day to check in with yourself. When you feel overwhelmed or reactive, pause and take a few deep breaths. Remind yourself that you have the power to choose how you respond. By doing so, you maintain your inner balance and approach each situation with a clear mind. Equanimity is a lifelong practice. It requires patience and dedication, but the rewards are worth the effort. By cultivating this quality, we create a foundation of inner peace that supports us through all of life's experiences. We become more resilient, more compassionate, and better able to handle whatever comes our way. As you continue your journey, remember that equanimity is not about achieving a perfect state of calm all the time. It's about developing the ability to return to a place of balance, no matter how many times life shakes us. With each practice, you build a stronger and more stable foundation within yourself. By embracing equanimity, you open yourself to a deeper understanding of your own mind and emotions. You learn to navigate the world with a sense of peace and clarity, no matter what challenges arise. This practice helps you to live more fully, with less stress and more joy, making it a valuable tool for personal growth and happiness. How to pause before reacting. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a calm lake. The water is still, reflecting the sky like a perfect mirror. Then someone tosses a stone into the lake. The once smooth surface ripples with waves, disrupting the calm. This is much like our minds when something unexpected happens. Just as the stone disrupts the water, external events can stir up our inner peace. But what if you could choose not to react immediately? What if you could let those ripples settle before you respond? In our fast-paced world, reacting quickly has become a norm. We're often encouraged to act on our emotions, to give immediate responses. However, reacting impulsively can lead to misunderstandings, conflict, and regret. Buddhism teaches us to pause, reflect, and respond with intention rather than reaction. This pause is not about delaying or avoiding, but about choosing a more mindful approach. Take a moment to think about a recent situation where you reacted hastily. Maybe it was an argument, a stressful email, or a minor inconvenience. How did that quick reaction affect the outcome? Often, reacting in the heat of the moment can escalate the situation. By taking a moment to pause, we give ourselves the chance to assess the situation more clearly, without the immediate rush of emotion clouding our judgment. Buddhism offers a powerful practice for this. It's called mindful breathing. When you find yourself on the edge of reacting, pause and take a deep breath. Focus on the sensation of the breath entering and leaving your body. This simple act can create a space between the stimulus and your response. In this space, you can observe your thoughts and feelings without being overwhelmed by them. Why is this pause so important? In Buddhist philosophy, our immediate reactions are often driven by sankharas, or mental habits and conditioning. These are patterns formed over time, based on past experiences and emotions. When we react without pausing, we're essentially acting out of these ingrained patterns, which might not always serve us well. By pausing, we break this automatic response cycle and allow ourselves to choose a more thoughtful and balanced approach. To practice this, you might start by setting reminders throughout your day. These reminders could be physical, like a sticky note on your desk that says, "Pause," or they could be mental, like a mantra you repeat to yourself. When faced with a potential reaction, take a deep breath and ask yourself a simple question. Is this the response I want to offer? This question helps you step back from the immediate impulse and consider your response more carefully. Another technique from Buddhism is the practice of noting. When a strong emotion arises, acknowledge it without judgment. For example, if you feel anger, simply note to yourself, "I am feeling anger." This act of noting helps you to detach from the emotion, rather than being controlled by it. It allows you to observe your feelings and choose a response rather than being swept away by the current of your emotions. Creating this pause also helps us to practice compassion. When we react impulsively, we might hurt others or create unnecessary conflict. By taking a moment to pause, we give ourselves the chance to respond with kindness and understanding. We can reflect on how our words and actions might affect others and choose a response that aligns with our values. This practice of pausing and mindful breathing doesn't have to be limited to difficult situations. It can also be applied to everyday interactions. For example, if someone gives you a compliment or a critique, you can take a moment to pause and fully process their words before responding. This helps you to engage with others more thoughtfully and authentically. Over time, this practice of pausing can lead to significant changes in how you interact with the world. You'll find yourself responding with more clarity, patience, and compassion. Your relationships will benefit from your more thoughtful approach, and you'll experience greater inner peace as you break free from automatic reactions. Remember, the goal is not to eliminate reactions but to transform them. By practicing the art of pausing, you give yourself the opportunity to respond in ways that reflect your true self, rather than your immediate impulses. It's about finding balance and maintaining your inner calm, even when the external world is in turmoil. So, next time you feel the urge to react immediately, pause and take a deep breath. Give yourself the gift of a moment's reflection. In that pause, you might find a new way to respond that brings you closer to the person you wish to be. The power of observing your thoughts. Imagine you're sitting by a calm river, watching the water flow gently by. Each ripple and wave is like a thought passing through your mind. Just as the river flows continuously, our thoughts move in and out of our awareness. But what if we could sit beside this river and watch with a sense of calm detachment? This is what it means to observe your thoughts. When we observe our thoughts, we become like a gentle observer of the river. We notice each thought as it appears, but we don't get swept away by it. For instance, if you're feeling upset because of a comment someone made, instead of immediately reacting, you can pause and observe the feeling. What does it feel like? Where in your body do you feel it? This simple act of observation can help you understand your emotions better. Buddhism teaches us that our thoughts are like clouds in the sky, constantly changing and passing by. When we get caught up in our thoughts, it's as if we're being pulled into a storm. But if we can observe them without judgment, we can remain calm and centered. This practice helps us avoid reacting impulsively and allows us to choose our responses more wisely. One way to start observing your thoughts is through meditation. During meditation, you sit quietly and pay attention to your breath. As thoughts come and go, you simply notice them and let them drift away. This practice trains your mind to become more aware of its own processes and helps you develop a habit of observing rather than reacting. Another technique is to use mindfulness throughout your day. When you're faced with a challenging situation, take a moment to pause and observe your thoughts and feelings. Ask yourself, what is happening right now? How am I reacting? By acknowledging your thoughts without immediately acting on them, you create space for a more thoughtful response. For example, if you receive an email that frustrates you, instead of replying in anger, take a few deep breaths and observe your feelings. Notice the physical sensations of frustration, perhaps a tightness in your chest or a clenching of your jaw. By observing these sensations, you create a gap between the stimulus and your reaction, allowing yourself to respond more calmly. This practice of observing thoughts also helps in recognizing patterns in your reactions. You may notice that certain types of comments or situations trigger specific responses. Understanding these patterns can help you address the root causes of your reactions and work towards changing them. In Buddhism, this process of observing is known as mindful awareness. It's the practice of being fully present in the moment and aware of your thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. This awareness helps you understand yourself better and provides clarity on how to respond in a way that aligns with your values and goals. By developing the ability to observe your thoughts, you cultivate a sense of inner peace. You learn to respond to situations from a place of calm rather than being driven by automatic reactions. This practice not only improves your emotional well-being but also enhances your interactions with others. Imagine your mind as a clear pond. When the water is still, you can see the reflections clearly. But when the water is disturbed, the reflections become murky. Observing your thoughts is like keeping the pond still, so you can see your inner reflections clearly and make thoughtful decisions. In summary, observing your thoughts is a powerful tool for managing your reactions and cultivating mindfulness. By practicing this skill, you develop greater self-awareness and the ability to respond to situations with clarity and calmness. This practice aligns with the Buddhist teachings of mindful awareness and helps you navigate life's challenges with a more balanced and thoughtful approach, transforming reactive tendencies into thoughtful responses. Imagine you're in a quiet forest. The trees are still, and every sound echoes softly. Suddenly, a branch snaps. How do you react? Do you jump, or do you take a moment to understand the sound? Our reactions in daily life can be just like this. Sometimes we jump to conclusions or react quickly without thinking. This part is about transforming those quick, automatic reactions into thoughtful, mindful responses. We live in a world full of stimuli. People cutting us off in traffic, stressful deadlines, or unexpected challenges. Each of these triggers a reaction within us. But here's the catch. Reacting immediately often means acting out of habit or impulse rather than thoughtful consideration. Buddhism teaches us that this habitual reaction is a form of ignorance. We act without understanding our true nature or the nature of the situation. To start transforming reactive tendencies, we first need to recognize them. This is where mindfulness comes into play. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. When we are mindful, we become aware of our automatic reactions. For instance, if someone makes a rude comment, our immediate reaction might be anger or frustration. By practicing mindfulness, we notice this anger arising but don't let it control us. Instead, we observe it, understand it, and then choose our response. Think of mindfulness as a pause button. When you press pause, you create a space between the stimulus, the rude comment, and your response, anger. This space allows you to choose how you want to respond. Instead of reacting out of habit, you can respond thoughtfully and calmly. This practice doesn't just apply to negative situations. It can be used in all interactions and experiences. Buddhism encourages us to cultivate awareness of our habitual reactions and transform them. One key concept here is right action, which is part of the Noble Eightfold Path in Buddhism. Right action means choosing actions that are ethical and considerate. By becoming aware of our reactive tendencies, we can start to align our actions with our values. Another important practice is detachment from outcomes. Often, our reactions are influenced by our attachment to specific outcomes. For example, if you are attached to a particular result, you might react strongly when things don't go as planned. Detaching from outcomes means focusing on the process rather than the result. This shift in focus can help you respond more calmly and thoughtfully, regardless of the outcome. Transforming reactive tendencies also involves understanding the nature of impermanence. In Buddhism, everything is seen as impermanent and constantly changing. By recognizing that all experiences, including our emotions and reactions, are temporary, we can gain a sense of perspective. This helps us to not get too caught up in our initial reactions. Instead, we can approach situations with a clearer mind. Practicing meditation can further aid in transforming reactive tendencies. Meditation helps us develop a deeper awareness of our thoughts and emotions. Through regular practice, we become more familiar with our habitual reactions and learn to observe them without getting entangled. This awareness provides us with the tools to respond with greater clarity and intention. One practical exercise is to take a few deep breaths before reacting. When you feel the urge to react impulsively, pause and take a deep breath. This simple act of breathing creates a moment of reflection. It helps you shift from a reactive state to a more thoughtful one. This pause allows you to consider your response and choose one that is more aligned with your values and intentions. Another technique is to visualize a calm, serene place whenever you feel a strong emotional reaction coming on. This mental image can help you ground yourself and reduce the intensity of your reaction. Over time, this practice can help you develop a more balanced and composed response to challenging situations. In addition to these techniques, it's important to cultivate compassion towards yourself. Transforming reactive tendencies is a process, and it requires patience and self-kindness. Recognize that it's okay to have automatic reactions. What matters is how you choose to respond to them. By practicing self-compassion, you create a more supportive environment for personal growth and transformation. In summary, transforming reactive tendencies into thoughtful responses involves developing mindfulness, understanding the nature of our reactions, practicing detachment from outcomes, and engaging in meditation and other techniques. By becoming aware of our automatic reactions and learning to observe and choose our responses, we can navigate life's challenges with greater ease and clarity. This transformation leads to a more balanced, intentional, and fulfilling life. Through these practices, we begin to embody the teachings of Buddhism, integrating them into our daily lives. As we continue to cultivate mindfulness and transform our reactions, we align more closely with our true nature and respond to life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Practical exercises to develop emotional awareness. In our journey through life, our emotions often feel like a turbulent sea, crashing and swaying with every wave of circumstance. But what if we could find a calm center amidst this storm? In this part, we'll explore practical exercises to help you develop emotional awareness, a key step in responding thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Imagine your mind as a busy city street during rush hour. Cars honk, people rush past, and everything seems chaotic. Now, picture yourself standing calmly on the sidewalk, observing the activity without getting swept up in it. This is a bit like how we want to approach our emotions. We want to observe them without letting them control us. Exercise 1, the pause practice. One of the simplest yet most powerful exercises is the pause practice. When you feel a strong emotional reaction bubbling up, whether it's anger, frustration, or even excitement, take a moment to pause. This pause can be as short as a few seconds. During this pause, focus on your breathing. Take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it for a moment, and then slowly exhale through your mouth. This simple act of pausing helps create a gap between the stimulus and your response, giving you space to choose how to react. Think of it as hitting the pause button on a video. Instead of reacting in the heat of the moment, you get a chance to reflect and choose your next action more thoughtfully. Exercise 2. The body scan. Another useful technique is the body scan. This exercise involves paying attention to physical sensations in your body. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Start by focusing on your toes and gradually move your attention up through your legs, torso, arms, and finally to your head. Notice any areas of tension or discomfort. By focusing on these physical sensations, you can often identify how emotions manifest in your body. For example, you might notice tightness in your shoulders when you're stressed or a clenched jaw when you're angry. Recognizing these signs can help you address your emotional state before it escalates. Exercise 3. Journaling. Keeping a journal is an excellent way to develop emotional awareness. Set aside a few minutes each day to write about your experiences and feelings. Don't worry about grammar or structure. Just let your thoughts flow. Writing about your emotions helps you process them and gain insight into recurring patterns or triggers. After some time, you may notice patterns in your reactions. For instance, you might discover that certain situations consistently lead to frustration. This awareness allows you to prepare and respond more calmly in the future. Exercise 4. Mindful observation. Incorporate mindful observation into your daily routine. Choose a moment each day to simply observe your surroundings with full attention. Could be during a walk, while eating, or even during a quiet moment at home. Notice the colors, sounds, and textures around you. This practice helps ground you in the present moment and reduces the likelihood of getting swept away by emotional reactions. By regularly practicing mindful observation, you train your mind to be more present and less reactive. You become more aware of the world around you and your place within it, fostering a sense of calm and clarity. Exercise 5. Compassionate self-talk. How you speak to yourself plays a crucial role in emotional awareness. Practice using compassionate and understanding language when addressing your emotions. Instead of criticizing yourself for feeling a certain way, acknowledge your feelings with kindness. For instance, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you might say to yourself, "It's okay to feel this way. I'm going to take a moment to breathe and regain my composure." Compassionate self-talk helps build a supportive inner dialogue, making it easier to handle emotional challenges without judgment or self-blame. Exercise 6. Observing thought patterns. Take time to observe your thought patterns without getting involved in them. Sit quietly and let your thoughts come and go. Don't try to suppress or control them. Simply notice them as they arise. This exercise helps you recognize that thoughts are transient and not necessarily a reflection of your true self. Over time, you'll become more adept at distinguishing between fleeting thoughts and deeper emotional responses. This awareness allows you to address the root causes of your emotions rather than reacting to surface-level thoughts. Exercise 7. Setting intentions. Start your day by setting a positive intention. It could be something like, "Today, I choose to approach challenges with patience and understanding." By setting a clear intention, you align your actions with your values and goals, making it easier to respond thoughtfully when faced with emotional triggers. Setting intentions helps create a sense of purpose and direction, guiding you towards more mindful and deliberate responses throughout the day. Exercise 8. Breathing techniques. Incorporate specific breathing techniques into your routine. For example, practice for 7-8 breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, and exhale for 8 seconds. This technique helps calm the nervous system and reduces stress. Use it when you notice yourself becoming overwhelmed or agitated. Breathing techniques provide a quick and effective way to regain composure and clarity in moments of emotional intensity. Exercise 9. Gratitude practice. Each day, take a moment to reflect on things you're grateful for. This could be as simple as a kind gesture from a friend or a beautiful sunset. Focusing on gratitude shifts your attention away from negative emotions and fosters a more positive outlook. A regular gratitude practice helps balance your emotional state and cultivates a sense of appreciation, making it easier to handle challenges with grace. Exercise 10. Seeking support. Sometimes, developing emotional awareness involves seeking support from others. Talk to a trusted friend, family member, or therapist about your experiences and feelings. Sharing your thoughts with someone else can provide valuable perspective and support. Connecting with others helps you gain insight into your emotions and provides reassurance that you're not alone in your journey. Exercise 11. Meditation. Engage in regular meditation practice. Even a few minutes a day can significantly impact your emotional awareness. Find a quiet space, sit comfortably, and focus on your breath. Allow your thoughts to come and go without judgment. Meditation helps you cultivate a sense of inner peace and clarity. Through meditation, you learn to observe your thoughts and emotions from a place of detachment, reducing their influence on your reactions. Remember, developing emotional awareness is a journey, not a destination. Be patient with yourself as you practice these exercises and celebrate your progress along the way. Through consistent effort and self-compassion, you'll find yourself responding more thoughtfully and living with greater peace and clarity. Sustaining a balanced mind, daily practices. Welcome to the final chapter of our journey together on the path to a balanced mind. Imagine your mind as a serene lake, undisturbed and calm. Maintaining this inner peace requires daily practice and awareness. Let's explore some simple yet powerful practices to help you sustain a clear and balanced mind. First, consider the practice of mindful breathing. Each day, take a few moments to sit quietly and focus on your breath. Inhale deeply through your nose, allowing your belly to rise, then exhale slowly through your mouth. This practice helps anchor you to the present moment and calms your mind. Even just a few minutes of mindful breathing can make a significant difference. Another effective practice is setting aside time for self-reflection. At the end of each day, find a quiet space to reflect on your actions and thoughts. Ask yourself what went well and what could be improved. This process of self-inquiry helps you understand your patterns and encourages personal growth. By regularly assessing your actions, you can make conscious choices to align more closely with your values. Gratitude is also a powerful tool for maintaining a balanced mind. Take a moment each day to acknowledge and appreciate the good things in your life. This could be as simple as a warm cup of tea or a kind gesture from a friend. By focusing on what you're grateful for, you shift your perspective from what's lacking to what's abundant. This shift fosters a positive mindset and enhances your overall well-being. Engaging in regular physical activity is another essential practice. Exercise not only benefits your body but also your mind. Whether it's a brisk walk, yoga, or any form of movement you enjoy, physical activity helps release built-up tension and promotes mental clarity. Aim to incorporate some form of exercise into your daily routine to keep both your body and mind in harmony. Cultivating moments of stillness throughout your day can also support a balanced mind. Even amidst a busy schedule, find brief pauses to simply be present. This could be during a meal, while waiting for an appointment, or before starting a new task. These moments of stillness provide space for your mind to reset and prevent it from becoming overwhelmed. Another valuable practice is to maintain healthy boundaries. Recognize when you need to step back from situations or people that drain your energy. It's okay to say no or to take a break. By protecting your personal space and well-being, you create a more balanced and harmonious environment for yourself. Creating a mindful environment at home or work can also support your mental clarity. Surround yourself with calming elements, such as natural light, plants, or soothing colors. A clutter-free space can contribute to a clutter-free mind, making it easier to stay focused and relaxed. Finally, remember the importance of connecting with others. Positive relationships and social support play a crucial role in maintaining a balanced mind. Spend time with people who uplift and inspire you. Share your thoughts and experiences, and listen to others with empathy and understanding. This mutual support helps create a sense of belonging and contributes to your overall emotional well-being. As we conclude this journey, remember that sustaining a balanced mind is a continuous practice. Each day presents an opportunity to nurture your inner calm and awareness. Embrace these daily practices with patience and dedication, and you will find that a clear and serene mind becomes a natural part of your life. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. I hope these insights and practices guide you towards a more balanced and mindful existence. If you found this series valuable, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. May your path be filled with peace and clarity.